Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Post-secondary institutions might fully return to in-person classes this September.
So right now we're in the process of working with our programs to understand what's possible for the fall.
The Edmonton Valley Zoo opens up with restrictions.
And how a Syrian refugee found a home in Edmonton.
Syria was very, very happy place to live in. But unfortunately, war happening there, and we all regret the time that we lived there.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NAIT NewsWatch. A year ago, when COVID-19 cases were becoming more frequent in Alberta, post-secondary education across the province switched to online learning.
However, now with the plans for everyone 18 and older, this could mean a possible return to in-person learning later in the fall. Our Josh Horlak joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
Thanks, guys. Yes, now returning to class, to in-person classes is the ideal situation. However, that's also the big question now. Whether we will be on campus for next semester or if we're just in for another semester of online learning.
Now, the ideal situation would be to return fully to in-person classes in the fall. However, that is dependent on Alberta Health Services and the Alberta government. In a news release from the Minister of Advanced Education, Dimitri Nicolaides, he urges students and staff to prepare for a full return to on-campus learning in September.
For the past year, students across Alberta have generally followed the same routine. Wake up, grab their computer, turn on whatever webcam they have, and join their class. But for the fall semester, students could experience a change from virtual backgrounds to back on campus come September.
So right now we're in the process of working with our programs to understand what's possible for the fall. We're trying to make sure that we still keep the health and safety of our community top of mind.
While there has been no official announcement from NAIT, students are hopeful to return to campus for in-person learning.
A lot of the classes I'm taking, you need in-person practical stuff, and it's really hard when it's just condensed into a few in-person labs for the entire semester.
While being able to attend labs and get hands-on experience, the online classes have offered a unique learning opportunity for students and staff that may be implemented into the future.
It was a great learning experience for us as instructors and staff at NAIT to understand that there are some courses that translate really easily to online and probably could in some way stay that way even when things are fully back to normal. So ideally, yes, let's get back on campus, but in some instances, there's some flexibility that's offered with staying online.
As for Vice President of NAIT, Sue Fitzsimmons, she believes that a blend of online and in-person classes is the future of education.
But I think as we understand how the field of education is evolving, we really need to make sure that we keep up with that future, that we innovate in ways that are going to serve students, that we meet student needs and demands because they're interested in virtual approaches to education along with the hands-on.
For now, it's just a matter of waiting to see if the blue tape will be removed come September.
Now, the decision to return to in-person learning is a weighted one. NAIT will have to factor in the vaccinations, the case numbers, as well as Alberta Health Services into their decision.
So Josh, is there any specific deadline for when this decision will be made? How will students be informed?
So from talking to NAIT, there is no official deadline on when they will make the announcement if we will be returning to campus. However, they are aiming for open enrollment by the end of July. As well, I have heard from NAIT instructors that there is word that there will be a decision by the end of April.
Is there any way for students to give their own opinions on the matter?
Yes, NAIT sent out a survey to all students and staff on Wednesday, and they will be taking the feedback that they received on that survey and implementing it into next semester. The survey had questions ranging from how students have found the online learning as well as what they would like to see in future semesters.
Thank you, Josh. That's Josh Horlak reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
For those tired of trudging through the snow in those long winter days, your woes have finally come to an end. Lime scooters, released in 2017, have made their long-awaited return for the spring and summer months. To some, this mode of transportation is a better, safer alternative to a car.
Well, I think with the return of the scooters, it's going to be access to having more fun with friends in a safe distance and being able to go around in a healthy environment.
Olga Messinis, Director of Traffic Operations, says that there will be parking corrals put into place to prevent people from leaving scooters in the way of other traffic.
As the weather's getting better, now would be a good time to visit the Edmonton Valley Zoo, which are reopening this weekend. Due to restrictions, however, only the outdoors component will be open, and although it's outdoors, wearing a mask is mandatory. With the zoo reopening, visitors will have a wide range of animals to see outside, such as Taiga the tiger, some zebras, different species of birds, and introducing a baby camel to the family is zookeeper Joelle.
So this precious little girl, she doesn't actually have a name yet. She was born on March 1st, so she's only 23 days old. You can see her little humps haven't even stood up yet. As she puts on more weight, those humps will stand up.
If you plan on paying these furry creatures a visit, make sure to book your tickets online on move.play.edmonton.ca.
Homeowners and gardeners across Edmonton now have a new nuisance to worry about: the black knot fungus. Growing mainly in plum, apricot, and cherry trees, this black growth can severely harm roots and eventually kill the tree. Certified arborist Emmy Weckworth says that this growth should be handled with extreme care.
Pruning in and of itself is complicated enough. So, I would recommend professionals, but then again, there are pruning workshops and places to, as a homeowner, there's a lot of really good courses and workshops that you can take.
This style of fungus is very easy to spot due to the texture and dark contrast to the rest of the tree. Luckily, it is not terribly harmful to humans.
It has been 10 years since the Syrian war began, resulting in the death of around 200,000 people and leaving many displaced and without a home. Today, a Syrian refugee who has been living in Edmonton for 5 years shares his story. What started as a peaceful uprising against Syria's president in 2011 ended as a decade war, resulting in death and displacements, creating the largest refugee problem in the world. Of the 2,800 Syrian refugees to resettle in Edmonton in 2016, Mu'taz al-Ukla was one of them.
We came as one family. We are 8 people, but my other families, they're all around the world. Like my cousin, my uncle, my grandma, she's still in Syria. She don't want to leave Syria until now.
Mu'taz said despite feeling homesick and facing challenges, he's enjoying Edmonton and its beauty. He is currently attending his first year at McEwen and hopes to become a lawyer in the future.
Coming up after the break, hardcore gamers often get a bad rap, but now all that focus is helping others.
And the radio students in the RTA program here at NAIT are helping to raise money for a local charity by streaming online games. Extra Life unites thousands of gamers around the world to help to play games to support local children's hospitals.
Extra Life Edmonton, being that it's such an online-focused organization, it was really easy to kind of get in touch with them.
You might be spending a little bit more time than you're used to in front of the computer for sports this weekend. I'll let you know why after the break.
Looks like things are looking a little bit chilly this week, so grab your toque and your jacket, and I'll tell you all about the weather next.
Well, Dawson, it looks like spring has finally come around.
I don't know about you, Sarah, but I sure am super excited that all the snow is finally starting to melt. And let's hear from our weather person, Phil Zakhan, for the forecast for this week.
hate to burst your bubble. Well, while things are looking a bit nicer, Monday we are going to see some really whack conditions, but we'll get to that later. So right now, starting off in Calgary, we have a high of 11 and a low of -3, 0% chance of precipitation, but it is looking a bit sunny, so that's great. Next in Jasper, we have a high of 9 and a low of 0, 40% chance of precipitation. It is mostly cloudy, so just bring a jacket in case it gets a bit chilly. Next in Fort McMurray, a little bit sad down over there. It's a high of 6 and a low of 2, 70% chance of precipitation. It's going to be a mix of snow and rain, so just make sure you're really careful on the roads, especially on Monday. And in Edmonton, we have a high of 9 and a low of -1 with a 70% chance of precipitation. So like I said, the weekend is going to be phenomenal, but Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be a little bit more of like kind of cold and chilly. So just bundle up and be careful when you're on the roads. Next to our averages, an average high of 6 and a low of -4. So pretty decent. But our records, in 1986, it was a high of 15 and a record low of -24 in 1898. That is way too chilly. But like I said, bundle up, make sure you stay warm this weekend and on Monday. Back to you guys.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
Well, it looks like our friends over at NR92 are finding some creative ways to get involved in charity work.
Indeed they have, Dawson. They have started NR92 Cares, which is a public service initiative to help raise money for Extra Life Edmonton. Playing popular games such as Among Us and Halo, students will play in 2-hour blocks, switching up game modes in between. Host Kurt Blandy says that helping out Extra Life was the easiest choice, considering circumstances.
But being that COVID is such a still like huge thing in our lives, there's not many options for charities to support right now. Extra Life Edmonton, being that it's such an online focused organization, it was really easy to kind of get in touch with them.
The event runs this Saturday, March 27th from 1 to 8 p.m. at discord.gg/YEGExtraLife. Now from the ice to the court, sports are beginning to make a comeback in our province.
Our own Thomas Doucette has you covered for all the sports information you need.
The Edmonton Oil Kings are off to a blistering 7-0 start to the season. With the unique conference system that they set up this year, each team in Alberta is playing against each other in a mini-series almost every weekend. After a 3-game sweep of the Red Deer Rebels last weekend, the Oil Kings are looking to continue their success. Oil Kings star forward Dylan Gunther attributes to the success to the team as a whole.
We play the right way. I think, we trust the systems that we have put in place, and we're all committed to working towards that plan.
The Oil Kings will face off against the Calgary Hitmen in another 3-game series this weekend. Puck drops for the first game in that series tonight at 7 p.m. local time. As Alberta opens up more and more, this is good news for college athletes. However, many restrictions do remain in place, such as limited numbers, and all non-athletic participants are required to wear masks. But those are a small price to pay for the ability to get back into the saddle for most of these athletes.
Honestly, it's just like one of those things that it just feels so good to be back.
Teams are currently practicing with groups of 10 people. Sports that are back do include both men's and women's hockey and basketball. Collegiate esports is taking hold in Alberta, and a tournament in Calgary is another major step to legitimizing the movement.
Hello and welcome everyone to the St. Trojans Esports Showcase Series exhibition matches.
The Alberta Esports Association is hosting the finals this weekend for a tournament run for SAIT students. And not only are students playing in this event, but they're helping with the broadcast as well.
We've looked to the communities and got experienced players and commentators from the community to help cast these events.
Games in this event do include Rocket League, NBA 2K21, and FIFA 21. Events can be watched this weekend at twitch.tv/Alberta Esports. One of the biggest basketball tournaments on the planet is going on right now, and it has more of a Canadian influence than ever before. Edmontonian Ahir Ugwek is currently playing for the Chicago-based Loyola University Ramblers. This kind of representation for Edmonton on the world stage could be huge for kids growing up in the city now.
Sometimes things need to be tangible, and you need to perception, and you need to be able to relate, and having stars coming from the region sure drives home that you too can either do it or be part of it.
The Edmonton native is playing this weekend in a round of 16 match and has high hopes of making it deep into the tournament. So Dawson, I know you spend your fair share of time on Twitch. Do you think you're going to check out that SAIT tournament this weekend?
Well, I think between that and the NR92 event, I'm definitely going to have my hands full this weekend.
And Sarah, I know you're not much of a sports person, but does anything here pique your interest?
Of course, who doesn't love a good hockey game?
Oh, I know I sure do. But that's it for me on Sports Guys. Back to you.
Well, folks, that's all we have for today's show. Be sure to enjoy the outdoors while in the warmer weather. I know I'm excited to check out the zoo.
Yes, Dawson, there's definitely a lot of animals to see there. Thank you for tuning in and have a good weekend.